How's it going, all you beautiful people? Let's talk about Prismatic Evolutions ETBs. There's been quite a drop in the price of a Prismatic Evolutions ETB, so I kind of dove into it and I kind of want to talk about it a little. So, a Prismatic Evolutions ETB in early December 2025 was $110. A little less than 4 months later, around late March 2026, so about 2 weeks ago, it was $210. So from early December 2025 to late March 2026, it went up from $110 to $210. That's an increase of 91% in 4 months. And I know there was a bear market to end 2025, so picking December, the price in December, isn't totally fair because that's the lowest price that this ETB was in a while, because the Pokemon market across the board fell about 20% plus or minus 10% depending on the product to end 2025. So almost every Pokemon product was down at the end of 2025. But this just kind of highlights how much the Prismatic Evolutions ETB rebounded and how much it is up from when it was $110 in early December 2025 to $210 about 2 weeks ago, late March 2026. A 91% increase in a less than 4 months. That's an insane increase. But from late March 2026, so about 2 weeks ago till now, it's gone from $210 to $170. That's a decrease of 24% in 2 weeks. And that's a pretty substantial decrease. You might be wondering, why has Prismatic Evolutions ETBs dropped 24% in 2 weeks? And I think these are the reasons why. First off, Walmart had a Prismatic Evolutions ETB drop. I think some people said it was an estimated about 300,000 units of Prismatic Evolutions ETBs for $70 each. And most of the time when 300,000 units of something gets dropped, the price of the item will drop lower than it was, purely because a lot of people that buy items will sell their items that they're holding in panic, or will sell the items that they get from the drop to make an instant profit. So it kind of makes sense. But not only did Walmart drop about 300,000 units of Prismatic Evolutions ETBs, but GameStop also dropped a whole bunch of Prismatic ETBs for $150 each. And I know a lot of people have different feelings on GameStop, where GameStop charges way over MSRP. Sometimes they even charge higher than market. But the $150 price point of a Prismatic Evolutions ETB was lower than market. Obviously, it's way higher than MSRP. I mean, even the Walmart drop for $70 is higher than MSRP. But the $70 for Prismatic Evolutions from Walmart was a no-brainer buy if you were able to get it, which a lot of people weren't, because of bots and everyone trying to get it. But the GameStop ETB for $150 was lower than market. So this got bought up. It didn't get bought up as quickly as the Walmart drop for $70, because $150, although it's lower than market, it is still pretty high. It's still 200% higher than MSRP. So it didn't go as fast, but from my knowledge, I do think that the GameStop $150 Prismatic Evolutions ETBs did sell out or are close to selling out, one or the other. I didn't really check. Probably should have checked before this video, but a lot of people did buy out the GameStop $150 ETBs for Prismatic Evolutions. And then the third thing, a lot of distributors are giving Prismatic Evolutions ETBs to people that have distribution accounts. And I can't really speak on the pricing. A lot of big YouTubers, a lot of big Poke influencers have talked about how they're going to get Prismatic Evolutions ETBs. But depending on the distributor that you work with, depending on the product, depending on what you have to pick up, the price of the Prismatic Evolutions ETBs will vary depending on what you need to pick up, what distributor you have, other spend that they're requiring you to get this Prismatic Evolutions ETB. But long story short, there's a lot of Prismatic Evolutions ETBs that dropped on the market all at once. Walmart, GameStop, distributors, and because of that, a Prismatic Evolutions ETB has dropped 24% in the last 2 weeks. That's a really big drop. Like, if you're holding any investment and it drops 24% in 2 weeks, you would borderline call it a crash because it's dropped so much in 2 weeks. But at the same time, if you scope out and look at it from the big picture, and I know a lot of people don't like to do that, and look at it in the context of stuff, to go from $110 to $210, and then it corrects to $170 because of a mass reprint, I think it still shows that a Prismatic Evolutions ETB is really strong. And I can't predict the future, but I'm assuming that a Prismatic Evolutions ETB will do the same thing as a lot of popular Pokemon sets. And what I mean by that is what's probably going to happen is Prismatic Evolutions ETB, once a lot of the people that with distributor accounts get the ETBs, they'll sell it. People will buy it. Maybe some people will panic sell their Prismatic Evolutions ETBs that they were holding on as an investment because they're scared that it's going to drop. And I mean, if they got it when it was $110, it's not bad to realize gains and use those gains to further your hobby and other stuff that you want. But I'm assuming that the Prismatic Evolutions ETBs will hover around $170. Maybe it'll drop to $160. Maybe it'll touch $150 very briefly. But what's going to happen is this Prismatic Evolutions ETB is probably going to stay at $150, $160, $170 for a little bit. And then after some time, and this is the part where I'm not sure, it depends on market conditions, whether they're going to reprint Prismatic Evolutions ETBs again. But after a certain amount of time, I feel like Prismatic Evolutions ETBs are just going to go up in price again. And there will come a point when you can no longer get Prismatic Evolutions ETBs on the open market. And this happened to a lot of different products. I mean, 151 ETBs you couldn't get for a while, but for example, 151 booster bundle. You were able to get those from machines from various drops here and there. But once 151, people knew it was going to go out of print. And once it stopped printing, I mean, it went crazy, the price. And I feel like the same thing is going to happen to Prismatic Evolutions. And if you've been wanting to get a Prismatic Evolutions ETB, I feel like right now is a very good opportunity to get it because you want to buy an item when there's a downturn, or I wouldn't call this a downturn, when there's a dip. And there is a dip in a Prismatic Evolutions ETB right now. I don't know why so many people have this thing where when something's going up like crazy, they want to buy on the way up. But the second they see something starting to go down, they're like, oh, I don't want a piece of this. But you should kind of look at it the opposite. When something is going up, sure, you can buy it. Sure, it's okay to buy it. But you should also consider buying it on the way of when there's a dip, when there's a correction, especially 24% correction. That's what happened to this ETB. If you've been wanting to get this ETB, I would say right now is a good opportunity to get it because the only reason why it's down is because there was such a massive reprint. And that's just something that always just, it blows my mind that people want to buy stuff when there's a lot of hype, when it's hard to get, when it's really expensive, when prices are spiking. But when there's a 24% drop in 2 weeks, they're like, nah, I'll wait. And what's going to happen is in a month, in 2 months, and 3 months from now, this Prismatic Evolutions will probably hit the 210 high again. It'll probably surpass the 210 high, and it'll keep going higher. And then one day when Prismatic Evolutions is going out of rotation, which is going to be next year around this time, there's going to be another spike in the price of Prismatic Evolutions ETBs because people are going to realize that they can no longer get this on the open market. So if you've been trying to get the Prismatic Evolutions ETBs, I would say right now is a really good time. But let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about Prismatic Evolutions ETBs. Let me know what you think about this dip. If you think that what I'm saying you don't believe in, if you think that Prismatic Evolutions ETBs will go down even more, if you think they were too high to begin with, let me just know your thoughts. I'm very curious on hearing other people's opinions. And as long as you have thoughts and facts to back up your stuff, I love to hear different stuff because at the end of the day, a lot of stuff that people say aren't truth. We don't come from the future. We don't know what's going to happen exactly. You can base things on trends in the past, from facts, from feelings that you have, from opinions that you have. But one thing is true. we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what the price of this Prismatic Evolutions ETB is in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year from now. So that's why I like to hear other people's opinions, because this is just mine. So if you have any other thoughts, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your opinion. Let me know what you think about the Prismatic Evolutions ETB dip, as a lot of products are just going crazy on the Pokemon market. And I'd really appreciate it if you watch up to this point, if you would subscribe to my YouTube. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I'm pretty far away. I'm at 300 something. I'm trying to get there because it's the first step to get into the partner program at YouTube. You have to do a couple other things, but that is the first step. So I'm trying to get there. And follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Everything is TCG Collectors House. Drop a comment. Drop an upvote, drop a like. They all help with the algorithm. But most importantly, I really appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.